Today's episode of The Hustling Agent, we have a very special guest, Craig Reger, with Reger Homes and Reger Coaching and Consulting. Craig, how the hell are you? Thanks for coming in, dude.
Good, brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is great for me, personally, because this is the first episode I've ever done with a guest in the house.
So wait, two things. First guest and first time in house, because everything's been virtual.
Yes.
Oh, we're just winning already.
We are winning already. So, Craig is up in Portland, Oregon, brokerage up there. How many agents do you guys have?
About a dozen.
Dozen?
Yeah, 12. We're growing pretty rapidly.
And then,
I'm growing rapidly. Like, I didn't plan to have it, but we've got some lead sources we've turned on. Well, I didn't plan on having much more than 10. Most of my passion's around the coaching side. And we've got some leads are just amazing. So we're growing the brokerage right now.
Great. So it was just kind of have a small team or brokerage to support the coaching, and then it just kind of took off?
Well, I've had a team for 20 years. And so, I've had it all. I've had many agents. I've had a brokerage with 1,000 plus agents that I owned. I don't know if I've had it all, but I've done a lot in the real estate world. Transitioning my personal time into the coaching space and growing the coaching company, Reger Coaching Consulting, my thought on the brokerage was basically Navy SEALs. Like, instead of having 30 or 40 agents, have 10 agents. They each sell 50 to 100 homes each. And that's been going really well. But again, we've got some things happening with Zillow and some other lead sources. And now I'll probably have 25 agents by the end of the year.
Awesome.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Absolutely. So the Navy SEAL, that whole kind of angle, do you still want to stay true to that, or are we going to start getting a ton of bodies in there?
It's going to be a little bit of both. I mean, Navy SEALs, how do you get a Navy? How do you get a Navy SEAL? Well, go get a Navy.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. 250,000 people, and then find 15 bad son of a guns, and that's your Navy SEALs. It's a small group out of a big group. So yeah, it takes a lot of time. Those 10, 15 agents we have now, those took me 5 years to find.
Wow.
Mentor and help grow, and they're absolutely slaying it. But it was just adding a couple of people a year, probably going through 30, 40 interviews to select 2 agents, and planning to hit 25 agents by the end of the year. We still are definitely going to go for quality over quantity, but I think we've also got better at it over time. So we're not going to let anyone in the door, but we're going to have to loosen up a little bit with the growth we have coming.
Yeah. Wow. It's such a different mindset than what I had, right?
Totally. We talked about that at
yes,
dinner last
yes,
night.
We talked about it at dinner, but you've been in my shoes.
Well, and I can also afford to loosen up. I mean, part of it is we didn't have 1,000 leads coming through a month. And so it was work every lead to exhaustion. A little bit different when the lead flow goes up, we can have more people work them and still get great results.
Yeah. So how about the admin staff for the organization? What's that look like?
Growing as well. We have a job offer out right now. So currently we have 2 full-time transaction coordinators. We call the admin team our success team. We also call them in the coaching company the nurses. Our philosophy is real estate agents are surgeons, which is the highest dollar per hour activity. And then we've got a great group of nurses taking care of the patients, or of course in our case, our clients. So we have 2 full-time transaction coordinators, 1 full-time listing coordinator, 1 office manager, and 1 business manager.
What's the business manager do?
Financials, pay, reports, spreadsheets, profit and loss, those types of things.
So they cut the checks and do the bookkeeping.
Yeah.
You call that a business manager?
We do.
Okay. We call ours the controller. Is that the wrong word?
No, I think it's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, the key is we both have them.
Yes, exactly.
Which means we're not screwing it up ourselves.
Yes, I did not want to cut checks. That is hard. So then you said, you plan on getting to 25 by when?
Probably by the end of the year, maybe end of January. I mean, we're going to have to add 10 to 15 people in the next 120 days.
Yeah. So how are you going to do that?
A lot of recruiting. That's become another full-time job I didn't expect to take on. Not a negative. I've got a lot of experience with it. One, we have a long relationship in our market. We've been there for 20 years. So social media messaging, private messaging, texting, phone calls, just reaching out to people I know, people we've worked with. We've got a boosted social media ad. We've got a campaign through MailChimp going to agents in our market that we see as being a fit. I think we've got about 5,000 agents we're hitting now for the last 2 months, once a week. Content maybe not as awesome as this, but similar to this, where we're sending out content, marketing examples, strategies for the competitive market we're in. And what's nice about MailChimp, we can see who opens it. So it gives us a list to follow up with as well.
See if they open it at 5 times, right?
I mean, it's a multi-pronged attack. We've got Indeed. We've got bonuses to our current agents if they've got a great co-op and they hand that off to us saying, hey, you guys should meet with Craig. I mean, it's literally, if we're recruiting, it's not a passive. It's no different. If I want to take on 25 new listings this month, you have to aggressively go and find them.
Yes.
If I want to bring on 25 agents the next 3-4 months, it's an aggressive strategy. And a lot of it's failing, but I'm okay with that because a lot of it's working. So we just keep hitting it every single day.
Exactly. That content every week. In fact, you may get this as a piece of content to the viewers, right? But
come and join our brokerages.
Yes.
Sacramento and Portland.
But I think that's great. Definitely got to keep on it with a plan. That's absolutely true. Yeah, we talked about that last night and at lunch. So good. Where do you expect the transaction numbers to end up for the team this year?
Probably close to 300.
Terrific. Of 15 people?
Yeah. Well, like I said, Navy SEALs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, our story is our best year. I was at 350, 400 units. I've never been the biggest team in the country, but in our market, like something I'm proud of.
Yeah.
And then I took a role at a previous company I was part of, Keller Williams, and I moved out of state. And when I moved out of state, and at that point I had 6 brokerages as well, like everything collapsed. I mean, like literally collapsed. We went down to like 60 units and it was bad. And it was embarrassing. It was financially not a fun period of time as well. Uh-huh. And we've spent the last 4.5 years rebuilding.
Yeah.
So to get back up to that volume with a level of service that I'm completely proud of, with the client experience, agents I'm proud of, it's been a really good rebuild.
That is great. Yeah, that's a lot. What's that average? 15 divided by 300? What's that? 20 each?
No, it's way more than that.
It's way more. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
No, it's probably 25, 35.
Yeah, great.
Well, and of course, we have some agents selling 75, and we have some newer agents we brought on in spring. They're going to sell 20 this year. So, it's just like your team. It balances out.
And how about listings versus buy side?
Pretty much always 50-50.
Really?
Yeah. Like, no matter what we do or where we end up, I mean, it could be 55-45, one swing or another, depending on the market, the season, or the year, but pretty close to 50-50.
Yeah, ours is about 70-30.
For the buy side.
For the buy side.
Well, with your lead sources, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I bet that many of the listings are from your past SOI, right? Because you've sold a shit ton of houses.
Yeah, and we're really big into client events. Like, even in the pandemic, when everybody's like, you can't do anything. It's like, yeah, that was true the first 3 or 4 months, but people leave their house.
Yeah.
I mean, they still left their house. So I think in the last 12 months, we've done 6, which you guys have the weather for here. We've done 6 shaved ice events. So we've got a company called Kona Ice. It's like $1,000, and that will serve up to 300-400 snow cones. And so they come to our parking lot. No, it's super easy. Oh, and by the way, our lender and business partners often help, help pay for it. But yeah, we invite the entire database, like bring your friends. There's a school around the corner. We invite the school. We purposely plan it to start right after school ends. And I mean, we'll have 1,000 people come through.
So,
it's pretty amazing.
Kona Ice, I think that they're here too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a shaved ice truck. But it's like, we do things like that constantly. Or portraits in the parks, one of my favorites. I was just in your office. You've got a beautiful family.
Yep.
Yeah, good job. Like, those were professional photos.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like professional photos? So we'll find and again, you guys have the weather for it. It's harder in Portland, where we have a 3 or 4 month window where we hope it doesn't rain. But we'll just get a local park, and again, we've got our database, and that's pretty dialed in. And agents, I know a lot of your databases aren't dialed in. Just like, step at a time, just organize it, get contact info, and get label, and past buyer, future seller. And then we just invite them, and it's amazing like how many people show up for portraits in the park. We take a photo of them. By the way, what real estate agent doesn't know a ton of photographers? We take a photo. We give them the photo for free. If they want additional photos, that's where the photographer makes his or her money, is they'll go direct to him for additional. But the turnout of that is awesome. And then, 3, 4, 5 years later, we're at a listing appointment. Guess what's hanging up on their wall? The picture we gave them.
Dude, that is great. And we were talking about this last night about working the sphere and the database. So those client events obviously they crush.
Well, and that's where the success team comes in. I think the reason a lot of real estate professionals fail on that side of the business is because they're just really busy representing buyers and sellers. Like, they're not good admin. Respectfully, most real estate agents are not good admin of their own businesses.
Sure.
And in our world, in our coaching world at Reger Coaching, like, all of that is run by the admin side. Like, literally, I just want to get a text the night before that says, hey, Craig, shave and look presentable because there's something tomorrow. And then I show up for it the next day, and there's a shirt on my desk that's branded to our company.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, you're going to shake hands and kiss babies and see all your friends and past clients for the next 4 hours today between 1 and 5. So
when you invite people, is it everybody in the system, or is it just the past buyers and sellers?
I mean, it depends on the event, Suneet. I mean, we do, I like wine. You had a great cab last night. We had some great New Yorks.
Great, yep.
So we do some smaller private events with either our highest net worth clients or people that have given us just a tremendous amount of referrals over the year.
Sure.
So that might be 30, 40, 50 clients with a winemaker where we'll just rent out like a small spot and have that. But then we'll have bigger events that could have 300-400 people like Kona Ice. So it's not opening everything up to the entire database, but it's certainly, there's a goal for each event, there's a target audience for each event, and then there's a system behind making each event work, which is, phone calls, text, emails.
Yeah, so you invite them first and you thank them for coming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get 3 touches.
Sorry we missed you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we invite them, reminder, probably a second reminder. Second reminder, and then we have the event, and often people can't show, like, it's a busy world. Sorry we missed you. Photos being sent out, like, hey, here's what you got to be at, or here's what you missed. By the way, we have another one scheduled for October 20th. Yeah, it's pretty easy.
And your staff handles most of that.
They handle all of it. I mean,
That's incredible.
My concept is vision, capital, accountability. Vision, let's do portraits in the park. You have a $5,000 budget, and I want 200 families there. Perfect. That's a vision. Capital, there's going to be, hopefully we can get some sponsors, but that's going to cost Craig some money.
Yeah.
Okay, so 5,000 capital. Accountability is I don't just throw that out there and hope 2 months later 200 families show up to portraits in the park. We'll meet with our staff once a week. It's a quick meeting. Like, cool, did you pick the park? Great. Did you line up the photographers? Fantastic.
Yes.
Do you have any proof marketing for us to see? Great. That's week 1. Week 2, how did it go with the marketing you sent out? So, it's a quick system.
See, that's great because client events, and you nailed it, and I am guilty. We used to do them every quarter before COVID. Like, I've had Santa sitting in this same office taking pictures, right? And it was great. And Santa still calls me every year. He's wondering if we're doing it this year. I should probably get back to him, being that it's almost October.
Santa probably needs it after last year.
Santa probably needs it. So that's a really good idea. Those client events. I mean, is there a better way to work the database?
Than staying in touch with people?
Yeah.
I don't think
No,
so.
and it's not like you're asking for business.
No, I mean, this all started with Craig Reger business. I'm like, it doesn't even matter what leads we're buying or prospecting or working. It kind of ends up 50-50. And I think the reason is because of these types of events. And even putting the events aside, it's just a communication with the database.
Yes.
We constantly communicate. One of my favorite things in the coaching company, I'll go into a room of agents, ranging from 50 to 1,000, and I'll pick on some people in the front row. It's like, how long you been in business? They're like, 10 years. I'm like, cool, let's pretend this. I'm in Sacramento. My wife and I moved here 1 year ago today. Just pretend 1 year ago today you sold us a house. Like, okay, cool. And it was great. You gave us a gift basket and keys and a big hug. It's been 1 year today. How many times have we heard from you?
Yeah.
And when I ask an agent that question, I mean, 19 out of 20, if not 49 out of 50, just freeze. They have zero follow-up.
Zero.
And it's really unfortunate. We as an industry work our butts off. And we get so close with the clients. And then we close and we move on to working our butts off for the next one, and we forget that client is the greatest referral source, repeat client source.
Yes.
So it's not just the events; it's just touches, communication, market updates.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that you nailed it too. Is like you create these intimate relationships with these people for a solid month or two, where you're talking to them 10 times a day sometimes,
right?
And then you never talk to them again. So that's super relative. In fact, I think I told you we had my wife's birthday party this past weekend, and one of the only guests that I was allowed to bring was a family that was one of the first people I ever helped buy and sell.
That's
and
cool.
we're still friends. And I know if they hear of anybody selling, that they're going to call me.
Without question.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I think the reason we fail at it as an industry is we're in charge of it. And just, we don't have the time to do it.
Yes, because we're busy chasing that next easy sale.
Well, none of us went to real estate. Like, hey, I'm so pumped to sit behind a desk for 8 hours a day, organize a database, send messages, build newsletters, put together client appreciation. Like, we didn't go into the industry for that.
Yeah.
But the funny part is that is why so many people fail in our industry, because they don't stay in touch with them.
So, do you guys speaking of newsletters, and this is a place where I'm at right now, are you guys doing any kind of mail outs to any farms or past clients or any mail at all?
We're not doing a farm. Should be. That's an area for my personal business. We should be, but again, we're okay. We're hitting our goals. We do a lot of communication with our past clients. So we do 2 emailers a month. Well, we do 1 emailer. So that's basically an email newsletter. We do 1 blurb, and it's just what my team's named it. So the blurb is just a really quick content, like, hey, did you know inventory's down to a half month? Or did you know the average property in Portland, Oregon went up 22,000 last month? It's just a quick blurb with some kind of call to action, like call us if you want to know your home's value. So we do the blurb, and then we do 1 print mailer a month.
Oh, you do, to your past clients?
Family, friends, and higher level leads. And the reason being is our database isn't perfect either. Like, I love to tell you, I've got everybody's email address, I have everybody's phone number, I have everybody's home address. I mean, the majority we do, but there's a big majority we don't have every point of contact for them. So if we're hitting them via text, hitting them via email, and hitting them via newsletter, everybody's getting touched, and most are getting touched in 3 capacities.
Do you guys do the newsletter yourself or outsource that?
We insource it.
Really?
Yeah. And to me, that, again, this took time. Like, at first, I didn't have the manpower or the capital, so we outsourced it. But doing it in-house, I've got my own flair and style.
Yes.
And my market's got its own flair and style.
Yes.
So for my market and my clients, I want it to smell, taste, and feel like Craig Reger. And I can get some really cool marketing put together and outsource it, but it would work just as well in Miami. And that's cool. By the way, agents, that's way better than doing 0.
Yeah, yeah.
But we've got the staff in place, and they do a great job, so they do it all for us.
Yeah, we don't do that mail to our database at all, except for Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just another leg, because I know, again, I don't have everybody's contact info.
Yeah, no, that
It's more
is great.
expensive.
I mean,
Yeah, you got print, you got stamp, but at the end of the day, it combined with everything else, it works.
we just started a mail campaign where we're going for mid-equity people. So 10,000 people with mid-equity, not high equity. And those mailers, 9-piece mail campaign goes out. When the first one goes out Monday. So I'll let you know how it goes.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, we'll see.
We've done a lot of that. During the beginning of the pandemic, we did high equity, not mid equity. I like it.
Yes.
We did purchase your home 7 years ago, probably need to upsize. We had a period of time in Portland where our market, well, actually it's still there, where our condo market, mostly because the riots and the homeless downtown, is our condo market is not elevated at the amount that single family homes have. So we've been doing a lot of direct marketing to folks that have owned their home for more than 25 years. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, you can sell it well above top dollar, and if you don't mind stepping over homeless people, you can buy a condo literally for $400,000 less than it was 2 years ago. But I mean, for some, that's a good, they need to sell their giant house with their giant lot,
sure,
and get into a 1-level secured building with an elevator. So I mean, I'm kind of joking through it, but there's opportunities in every market.
Yeah, great.
It sounds like yours is mid-level.
Yeah,
mid. What'd you call it? Mid-equity?
Mid-equity.
Yeah.
Yeah, because high equity has been beat up. Right. Non-owners have been beat up.
Yeah.
And the other interesting thing with mail campaigns right now is, with a lot of these mortgage companies not reporting the lates, the notice of defaults and list pendants, which used to be a great listing source for me. I would hit them all every month. Is gone.
Yeah, it's still gone.
Right?
It's been like 2 years ago.
So we are now mailing to people whose credit scores are going down, thinking that they must be getting lates on their mortgages.
Brilliant. How are you getting that list?
Call the guy and I'll give you the name. Yeah.
So I mean, bottom line, and that's, agents always freak out, like, how do I get that? How do I get that? It's a brilliant idea, and if you do the research, you can get that list.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. So those 2 campaigns go out Monday. So that'll be good.
That's cool. I like that.
What else are you guys doing for like leads right now? What's the whole lead program look like?
Well, we've really switched. I mean, when I met you 6, 7, 8 years ago, we were like that prospecting team.
You were, yeah.
And we still had the database. Like, we had the database of past clients, family, friends, and it was expireds, for sale by owner, circle prospecting. We're not doing any of that now. Like,
nobody wants to do it anyways.
It was horrible.
It's
I mean,
horrible.
we did do a lot of business from it, but it just at its essence, just cold calling is close to brain damage.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of warm leads. I mean, there's whether it's Zillow, Sync, Ylopo, Realtor.com, and probably a couple dozen others. Like, there's some great warm lead resources.
Yeah.
The key is, and you and I've talked a lot about it over the last 24 hours, is you still have to follow up on those.
Yes.
Like, you can spend $1,000 a month on leads, or we know people spending $100,000 a month. It doesn't matter. You actually have to do some form of lead follow-up. You have to put them in some form of database. And some of them will literally pop like, hey, I met you today, we're in contract, 72 hours later. And others, I think we had one a couple of days ago that was 640 days of follow-up.
Wow.
And I mean, it wasn't insane follow-up, but just a monthly check-in.
Yeah.
How's it going? What's going on? Are you ready now? Do you have any questions about the market? No, I'm good. Cool. Next month, how's it going?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about the market? Next month. Well, that month they're ready.
Yes.
And then we got them in escrow a couple of days ago. So, that lead follow-up. So, long story short, I'm a big fan of buying leads.
Yeah.
And making sure, which is why I have a business manager on our team. What do you call him, the controller?
Yeah.
Just making sure I get a good, ROI on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that lead follow-up is just, everyone's been saying it ever since sales has been around, right? And I tried, after watching you speak at the office, I tried to call some damn expires. I tried to do some circle prospecting, and I sucked at it, and I got beat up. So what did I do? I bought more leads, right?
Yeah.
And anytime I made money, I bought another zip code, or I got Commissions Inc., or did more on Realtor.com. So, and that's the kind of environment that has helped, at least us, yeah.
Well, it's helped a lot of people. I mean, you go into real estate forums, like, I'd never buy a lead. It's like, you know what? Especially if you've got a team or choose to have a team and you want to support your team, it's a great income source for them.
Yeah.
It's awesome for them.
Yes.
And then you throw in some past clients, family, and friends. You get their database merged into your database. You're communicating with them, and it just leads to a well-rounded big business.
Yes, exactly. It's like you said, the different pillars of the business, right?
Yeah.
To hold up that chair,
Yeah.
right? So, what advice do you have for let's say we have, a solo agent. Well, I'm going to make this a two-part question. So, you're a struggling team leader. What advice do you have? You're not a struggling team leader, but what are the viewers?
The only reason I would call myself a good team leader is because I've been a horrible team leader.
Right? Same.
Struggling team leader, literally one thing. This is why we have a coaching company. It's treat your people more important than your clients or yourself. And most mega agents that we coach or meet or talk to around the country, it's here's what we got. Suneet, you're a great buyer's agent on my team. Let's meet every Monday at 1 and talk about your business. And you say, cool.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, sounds great. And here's what happens Monday at like 11:30. Hey, bud, I've got a really crazy day. I've got a seller that just called. They want their house on the market right now because they found $1 million house they want to buy. Hey, can we just catch up tomorrow? Every team owner, well, the vast majority, and I did it for years.
Yeah, same.
Everything that came across my desk was more important than the people that I brought into my world. And the moment that I shifted that, and whether I was in production or not, and told my team, look, if we've got a meeting at 1, I'm going to be there. I'm going to have an agenda. I'm going to be on time. We're going to purposely go through what happened that previous week and celebrate your wins and how to maybe overcome some obstacles. And the moment that I and the people I coach stopped missing that meeting and showed up, everything changed.
Yes.
Everything changed. And by the way, if I can have 4 or 5 team members out selling 20, 30, 50 homes each year, that's a hell of a lot more than my important listing appointment.
Yes.
And there's a pride and a confidence and just a quality of life. Like, I have a younger lady on my team that was a hairstylist a couple years ago, tracking $300,000-400,000 this year in commission.
Yeah,
and she was a great hairstylist, and now she's literally changed her life.
Yeah.
Has a rental, has her dream car, bought a Rolex, putting money away for her next rental.
Yes.
She is loving life. And now in her 4th year, we're working on her having balance in her business as well. To me, that's way more exciting than Craig selling any home.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
bottom line is, a short answer is just put your people first.
Yeah.
And you'll quickly find out the good ones will gravitate towards that, and business will increase. And if you've got the wrong team member, they're not going to show up. And that's okay. They're just going to replace them with that Navy SEAL.
Yeah. I mean, full transparency, like, I was guilty of that, right? Is I would do the one-on-ones, some shit would come up, and I would make it a priority. Not saying that it was, but I would make it one. So what did I do? I hired somebody else to do the thing that I couldn't do.
And that's awesome as well.
Dale is my guy now.
And he's phenomenal at it.
Yep.
He was born to do that.
Yeah, he was born to do that.
So if you don't want to do it yourself, somebody's got to do it, or you'll keep having that revolving door of team members.
Yes. Yeah, and I mean the recruiting and the building of the agents is super hard, right? I mean, like you want, once you get that skill set in there, you've invested time, money, energy. Like, that person needs to feel important.
Yeah, and so is keeping them.
Yeah. What does your onboarding process for the agents that join the team look like?
We're a little bit different than maybe a lot of teams around the country. We actually pay if they're a new agent. So if you're brand new, like just got licensed yesterday, or maybe you've been somewhere and didn't sell any or many homes, I'll pay you $2,000 a month for the first 2 months and $1,000 the third month. And that's your flat base. By the way, I'm only paying you if you make it through the first month. So $2,000 the first month, $2,000 the second month, $1,000 the third. I'll also give you a $100 bonus for every appointment you set that we get a commitment from. So if you set an appointment for a listing and maybe you're so green, we send a listing agent, whatever. Our agents do both listings and buyers, but not in their first 90 days.
Sure.
So at the end of each month, they can make about $3,000. And the purpose of it going down to third month is if they do the right activities month 1 and 2, then by the third month they have homes in escrow.
Yeah.
What that's enabled me to do is to get into business. Well, we see it all the time. Like, man, I'd love to go into real estate, but I'm paycheck to paycheck. So $2,000 a month is a very small amount, but it's often enough, plus the bonus is $3,000 a month. It's often enough to bridge the gap where you can get that bartender or that hairstylist or that person that just doesn't have reserves to make that leap full-time into real estate. So one is we do compensate them for the first 90 days. 2 is we only bring in full-time people. 3, we set really clear goals. So for that $2,000, my expectation of you, Suneet, is you'll set at least 20 appointments. Period. And I don't care if they're axe murderers. I actually don't even care if the people show up for the meeting. I care that you set 20 appointments.
Yes.
Because if I can get you in the muscle memory of month 1 and month 2, setting 20 appointments per month through a myriad of sources, your client, your friends, your family, your acquaintances from your old jobs, some of the leads that I give you, if I can get you that muscle memory in the first 30 days of 20 appointments and the second 30 days 20 more, you're going to have a long career in this business.
Do you have any kind of, number one, that's great and very generous, so Sacramento agents don't get any ideas. But
perfect. It's a $5,000 investment.
Yeah.
As long as they get 3 homes sold, I don't make money, but I'll break even. After that, it's profit.
Do you have like a platform, like a learning platform, learning management system that you enroll them in, or
we're
like
not quite as organized
like
as
a boot camp or anything like that?
One other thing really quick on the 2,000, 2,000, 1,000, I'll also put some DNA on me of who I bring in the door. Because if I know I have to pay them, I have to at least believe in my heart that I'm not going to lose money on that relationship.
Yes.
On that new relationship.
You're making that investment, yeah.
On the platforms, no. We're not that organized, but we do have, they get a book. We go 3-ring binder. So our platform is 1982. It's a 3-ring binder. But it's got a copy of their contracts, got a copy of our scripts, got a copy of all the technology we use. It's got their, by the way, page 1 is their goals. So our platform is, these are the goals you must hit to be in our company by day 91.
Oh, good.
Like, that's it. It's these goals. And then there's training by a myriad of people in the company. A lot of times it's the experienced agents. We have a training calendar where they'll each come in and give them some time. They'll meet with the success team. They'll give them some time. We've got, as your company does, we've got some morning Zooms. We've got an afternoon team meeting on Tuesdays. So by the time it's all said and done, we have confidence we've given them the training to hit those goals.
Great.
And that's a big opportunity. A lot of times we bring agents into our team, we have 0 goals for them. We don't have clarity. Like, hey, welcome to real estate. You're going to sell 4 houses in your first 60 days. We don't do that as an industry as well. I find that really weird.
Yeah.
Their sole job is selling homes. And how many times I coach people, you've talked a lot about recruiting with your clients, coaching clients. And it's like, cool, they recruited somebody. And I'll ask them, how many houses? If I called Sally, the person you recruited, and asked Sally how many homes she intends to sell in the next 60 days, what would be their answer? And the team owner's like, It's like, you brought Sally in to sell homes, and she has no goal of how many homes to sell. I think that's weird.
Yeah.
So we have really clear goals.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm throwing you off.
No. It's making me think, because you're right. Right? You are right. I think the goals need to be upfront. Like, people ask me what my expectations are when people join the team. I say, look, I want you to hit whatever goal you set for yourself. And I typically don't ask them what that goal is.
Yeah.
And that's something I should know.
And Suneet, I agree with you. After the 90 days, they can have whatever goal they want.
Yeah.
The first 90 days, because I'm investing time, money, and resources into them, the first 90 days is my goal. On day 91, when they graduate, it's their goal.
Yeah.
They want to sell 70 homes, cool. They want to sell 12 homes, cool. It's their business inside of our brokerage. But those first 90 days, it's my goal. So not right or wrong, but there's a clarity.
20 appointments per month or total?
20 per month the first 2 months. Third month are hopefully out in the field, more and more doing activities. So it's 20 a month. I think and we flex it depending on who's coming in and what we see in them. So not everybody has the same goals that I set for them, but it's typically 1 to 2 escrows the first 30 days. Typically 1 to 4 escrows the next 30 days.
Yeah.
I mean, very achievable.
Very achievable.
And we flex it with seasonality. Like December, I'm going to have a different goal for somebody than June.
Yeah. That's a really good idea, because we do come in, finish our training, which is robust, right? We have platforms and videos. In fact, we got to film some new videos. I'm pointing at Chris, the camera guy, for all the
Chris
viewers.
is crushing it.
Yes, Chris is crushing it. When I ask them, make 200 calls and get as many contacts as possible. Is the call the metric? In this case, for me, the call is the metric, because I want them used to the system and rejection.
Yeah.
Right? But the goal is really the appointment, because they have to be getting in front of people.
Right.
How about open houses? Do you put that in the beginning?
We used to with the pandemic, and we're in Portland, Oregon, where it gets closed down pretty frequently. I mean, I know California is pretty tough as well, but I was actually shocked landing here yesterday at how many few masks I see compared to the Portland market.
Yeah.
So opens, they're happening in my market on and off depending on spikes with COVID, but we're not doing as many as we used to.
Yeah, same. Man, I'm gonna change something right away as soon as this is done. I'm gonna say set 20 appointments. Yeah. Because we give them access to 40,000 old leads.
Yeah.
All Realtor.com and Zillow.
Yeah.
Right?
Not to mention, unless they just moved here from the Alaska tundra, they have family, friends, probably past business associates of their previous career.
Yeah.
They should be able to set 3 or 4 just off of that.
Yeah. And you also, I heard you say no part-timers.
No. Won't do it. I won't do it.
Why?
Well, 2 things. One, for admin. I love when people that I coach or our coaching company coaches bring in a part-time admin. It's like, well, they said if we get busy, they'll go to full-time. Bullshit. People that are part-time look for part-time jobs to have a part-time job.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you pump up that workload, they're capable of doing it, but they're sacrificing something else that was important to them. I've very rarely seen it work. Somebody's probably going to post on your podcast, like, Craig's an idiot, it worked for me. I'm talking majority of the time.
Yeah.
When somebody applies for a part-time job, they want to be part-time. And so the problem is the purpose of a good hire is it grows your business. Period. The purpose of a good hire is it grows your freedom. As your freedom grows, you either golf more or go and find more business. And for most people in those initial hires, it's they're giving them time to not do paperwork, so they have more time to client interface with buyers and sellers. So the business goes up. So of course the admin role should move to full time, but the admin doesn't want to. Yeah. And so with all the time and resources to get him or her trained and up to that level, and then they're not capable of doing a full-time job, you're just setting yourself up to repeat the process, and that's a lot of work. For agents, it's similar. But it's like, okay, I'm going to work with you, get some transactions going, and then I'll quit my job at Nike because that's our biggest employer, literally across the street from our office, which is a pretty cool group to work with.
Yeah.
Intel and Nike, we like the Intel people. I mean, we love the Nike people. Intel's a little more analytical, but the Nike people are super fun. So yeah, we'll get some homes, but it's hard, man. I mean, I'm not saying it's not doable, and of course we've seen that transition. But again, we do have even though it's a 3-ring binder, it's a robust schedule. It's a robust training program. It's robust accountability from our lead agents and our leadership team. And so to invest all of that into somebody that can work 20 hours a week versus my expectation as a brand new agent is expect to work 60 or 70.
Yeah.
Sorry. But if you're not willing to work 60 or 70 hours, I mean, our industry, 9 out of 10 people that go into real estate are out of real estate by year 5.
Yep.
I mean, you know that.
Yep.
Well, there's a bunch of reasons why, and one of them is not building a strong foundation.
Yeah.
And to me, that strong foundation is 40 to 60 hours a week.
Yeah. I think that you nailed it. Of all the part-time agents we've had, and we brought on several lately, I have one guy, and the pandemic was the best thing that ever happened to him because he works at the state. Prior to the pandemic, he'd have to go in every day.
Right.
He's been working from home for 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? So he can be much more present in his real estate. He'll sell 25 homes this year while working full time. But there's so many cases where it doesn't happen. So I think...
and it's cool and it works. That's part of why we do the 5,000 now, the 221.
Yeah.
Is that's how the group that wants to come over part-time because they see the opportunity and they have a passion for it. But the only reason they're not quitting their job, I'll just ask, you're broke. And they're like, yeah. It's like, cool, what if I subsidize your income for the first 90 days and show you that we can help you have money coming in from sales within 90 days? They kind of cock their head like, really? You'll pay me to join? I'm like, it's $5,000, yeah.
How long have you been doing that $5,000 for?
5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's worked for you.
I've probably been burned 4 or 5 times. But it's not always the full 5. Like if somebody's really not showing up to set those at 20 appointments the first month, then they're not allowed to come back on day 31. It costs me $2,000.
Yeah.
So it's not even a $5,000 investment. It's a $2,000 investment to, is this person going to show up, work those 50,000 leads I have in my back-end database and set 20 appointments?
Yeah.
That's well worth $2,000.
That's good incentive, yeah. That's good incentive.
And it helps get them full-time right away.
Yeah. That's really smart. So, what advice do you have for the solo agent who's watching this? Are listening.
Yeah. Well, I'm choosing my words, but screw it, I'll just be myself. Stop being a solo agent. You know, it cracks me up when it's like, I'll never be part of a team. It's like, well, wait a second, you're the owner of your company. Do you work at Big Block or Remax or KW or EXP or JDZ? Like, the CEO gets to decide what company they work for. That's a role in your company. Where do you work? Do you buy Zillow leads or not? Do you do open house or not? Only the CEO decides that.
Yeah.
And then there's a listing side of your company. Being a listing agent is a very different role and skill set than being a buyer's agent. It just is. It's faster. It's a stronger presentation. You got to push for the close faster. Sometimes it's a more assertive part of the role. And then there's the buyer's agent, which is often this market's a little different, but it's nurturing, it's relationship building, it's more time consuming. And of course there's the admin, which is the paperwork. And the big part of it that's missed on the admin team is actually working that database. Yeah. So often, like, somebody will hire a transaction coordinator. It's like, you'll get more value out of just getting an assistant to touch your database, but that's not here nor there.
Sure.
So when somebody says, I'll never be part of a team, and I go through CEO, listing agent, admin, buyer's agent, it's like, you already have 4 jobs. You are a team that have 4 different hats, and let's be clear, 4 different pay scales per hat.
Yeah.
So my advice would be, go and get an admin. Go and get an admin part-time. And if you have to go part-time, and I'm talking at a certain level, I don't want to go full-time. I wouldn't want part-time, but whatever it takes, have somebody else turn every single brokerage in California. You've got to turn paperwork into, right? I'm pretty sure that's true for every state.
Yeah.
If you get a listing, there's certain paperwork you have to do. There's signs you have to put up, lock boxes that need to be put on. There's just so much back and a database that's probably not being touched.
Yes.
So solo agent, I'd say stop doing open house. Let's go to a stranger's home. Let's hope other strangers come through. Let's hope those strangers give me their contact info. And then let's hope if I nurture those strangers, they become a buyer or seller. Is that not the premise of an open?
Yeah.
And there's so many agents that are solo agents, 5-10 years in the industry, still trying to meet new clients off opens. which are an awesome form of lead generation, but they sold houses 5 and 10 years ago and have not stayed in a relationship with those past clients. Well, that's what your admin's job is. Throw your own Kona ice without you doing any work. So my advice to solo is get an admin. They can do all of that for you. And they should do your TC work as well, but they should run your database. They should free up your time.
Some kind of support. Yes, absolutely. Good advice. So,
covered a lot.
Yeah, we have. It's been super good. What's your plan for the rest of the year?
So my plans the rest of the year?
Yeah.
My world domination.
Okay, good.
I mean, Suneet, as we've talked a lot about the real estate side, client appreciation events, advice for a team lead, advice for a solo agent. My passion is the coaching side. Like, I love it. We're in the most amazing industry on the planet.
I agree.
And let's call it like it is our industry has a tremendous amount of pain. We can forget that our kids have soccer because we're so busy with the clients.
Yeah.
We can cancel our golf day with our best friend because a client that we didn't expect calls us and says, "Show me 2 more homes tomorrow morning."
Yeah.
We can work our asses off during summertime seasonality, which most markets have, and we can literally freeze in winter. And by freezing, I don't mean temperature wise. I mean just historically our industry does less business November through February. And so my passion is the coaching and consulting side, and we can't fix or completely remove all of the things I just discussed and a whole lot more, but we can put some systems and some mindset and potentially some personnel in place, and we can have this amazing career without some of the pain that so frequently came into. You know, as we talked earlier, it's like, well, if you're a new agent, I expect you to work 50, 60, 70 hours a week. I don't expect that at year 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But I expect you get over the hump of this career you do. But the problem is, so many of us, we found our success by working 60, 70 hours a week. And we fast forward 5, 10, 15 years later, and we haven't changed anything. So my goal by the end of the year is our coaching company's been in business 2 years. We're servicing clients in every single state, Reger Coaching Consulting. And my goal is to continue to grow that by attracting really great agents who are looking for more balanced growth and consistency, and continue to attract some really great coaches into our ecosystem that can help our clients.
Yeah, sounds great. So if people want more information about the coaching platform, or they want to send you a referral out there in Portland, how do they reach out to you?
Yeah, just email me direct, Craig at CraigReger.com, CRAIG at CraigReger, REGER.com.
All right.
Or just look up Reger Coaching. We're easy to find.
Yes, hell yes. REGER.
Yes, sir.
Dude, thanks. This was awesome.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Okay,
Thanks,
cool.
everyone.
Thanks for watching today's episode of The Hustling Agent. Please like, follow, subscribe, every social platform, and we'll see you on the next episode.